Welcome! In this video, we are going to review the app Notability. We're specifically going to do this on the iPad, although it is available on your MacBook as well. To start off, let's open up Notability. You will see this blue box with the pencil called Notability on your iPad. If it's not there, you can download it from Mosel School. When you open Notability for the first time, you will see this screen. Yours is not going to have all the notes that mine has. You will just have a few, but you will get the same window to open up. On the right side, you have all of your notes, including some tabs on how notes can be organized. On the left side, you will see another pane of organizational options. I will review that in a later video. Today, we're going to go over the tools that are in Notability that I find great, not only for note-taking, but also for mobile teaching. Notability is great for mobile teaching. I'm going to start off by telling you one of the perks. When you've got Notability on your iPad using it for mobile teaching and you're connected to your Apple Classroom, the students will not see anything that's on this page. These notes are none of their business. They do not need to see it. You will notice that the Apple TV shows the blue screen with the pencil until you've opened up the note that you wish for them to see. Go ahead and try that out at any point during this video, and you can pause it to see what I mean. First, I'm going to show you what it looks like to make a brand new note. You see this large blue button up in the top right corner with the plus sign and new. Go ahead and open it up. Now you have a blank note ready for all your notes and drawings that you may use. You do have a few options when it comes to setting up this note. Down at the bottom, if you prefer to write on notebook paper, you can set up ruled lines. If you are a math teacher and want to use some graphing paper, we have grids. Finally, if you'd rather show dots on your paper, you're using that, you can go ahead and get dots. There are also a few other options. You can import PDFs directly from this button. You can scan into Notability directly here using the camera app, or you can use templates that Notability has already created for you, or you can design templates on your own. These things I will not be reviewing today. I'm going to back out, and I'm actually going to go into a note so I can show you some of the perks of using this for mobile teaching and explaining some of the tools. So let's open up this math page that I have right here. I have a 4th grade teacher that uses this. This comes directly from the 4th grade math book. I got this directly from Savis if you're an elementary teacher. And she works on this as she's walking the room, creating, proximity with students that may need more engagement or has some behavioral issues. She's able to stand closer to them as she's still teaching, and the students can see what's happening on the screen. They're also following along in their workbook. So if you need some ideas on how to use this for mobile teaching, that's one. I'll sprinkle in a few more as this video goes on. So the first thing you'll notice is that there's this toolbox down here at the bottom. It is easily movable from one location to another on the screen if you don't like it where it is. I prefer mine down at the bottom. That's where I'm going to keep it today. The next thing you'll notice is that your tool that you are using is highlighted in the color that you have chosen. So you'll notice that the first tool right here is a pen. It is red because that is the color that I am using. If you tap on it a second time, or a first time, depending, you will see that I get all of the colors that I can set it up as. I can change the color from here, and now I'm able to write. You may not have all of those colors set up. There will be a plus sign here that you can find additional colors as well. You will also notice with the pen tool, there are different tip sizes. And there are different line styles. Any of those you can use at any time just by tapping and choosing. The next one we have in the row here is the pencil tool. Just like what you would expect a pencil to be, it is gray. It feels similar to a pencil. You also have different tip sizes for the pencil as well. The great thing about the pencil tool is if you are using this for art or shading, you can actually scribble and shade just like a regular pencil. See how it's getting darker as I shade? So this is great if you're an art teacher or just needing your students to do some sort of art and shading and you're having them do it on their iPad. The next one I'm going to go over is the highlighter tool right here. Highlighter tool is exactly how you would expect it to work. It highlights whatever you want. Again, we've got the different colors, and here's that plus sign I was talking about before. You can choose different colors for highlighting. Highlighters, in my opinion, should be neon, so that's what I'm going to choose, but you have a plethora of colors that you can choose from here. And again, you just take it up and you highlight it. Green's probably not the greatest for that particular highlight. Just choose pink. Now you can highlight just like you do if you were using a document camera, but you are now using it directly on your iPad. The highlighter also has the same tip and line styles as the pen. I'm not going to go over those again. You saw those before, but those are also an option. The next one I'm going to go over here is the eraser tool. The eraser tool is exactly as it would sound if you have used Keynote or any of the other built-in iPad apps. Works exactly the same way. You have different sizes of erasers. You have whole and partial erasers. If I choose partial, you will notice that you have to scribble to erase. Sometimes kids go crazy over that and they get a little out of control. So we like to recommend the whole eraser, because the whole eraser you can just swipe. One motion gets rid of the whole thing. Now the next one in the list is something really, really nice for teachers. It's one of our fan favorites. It is the laser pointer. So the laser pointer is exactly what you think it would be. You can use your pen or your stylus to laser point all over the place. So maybe your kids are lost. You need to show them where you're at. Instead of walking over to your Apple TV, pointing directly on the screen, you can use the laser pointer to show them. Now, I just demonstrated the red laser pointer with the no tail option. There is a tail option which allows you to keep the laser point up for just 1 second longer, so it's easier for your kids to see. Maybe they are not giving you the correct answer and you want to give them a hint and you just kind of underline something quickly. Then they see it, then they're able to give you that answer. As we work down the list, there is another fan favorite here, the zoom tool. Now I will tell you, obviously you can zoom just like you would normally zoom with the pinching action. Zoom it right in there. Now you're down to one problem. Your students way in the back of the room can see it just as easily as the ones in the front. That is a great option. I'm going to show you the zoom tool. So I actually had a teacher say that it just doesn't make sense for her to write on the iPad because she just writes so large. And with the stylus, she just can't write that small. What's great about the zoom tool is that she doesn't have to write super small now. And the kids don't even know what's going on. So let's take a look. Down here, this icon right here is the zoom tool. So I'm going to tap it. And now you'll notice on your iPad, you have this tiny box up here, but you have this giant zoomed in photo down below. You are the only person that sees this. Your kids do not see this on the screen. They see the worksheet as normal. So this does take a bit of practice, I will say that, but you will use and move this tiny box wherever you want it on the screen. So maybe you're going back in here and you need to continue with the sequencing. Well, I'm moving around. This right here is super small, and I don't expect anybody to be able to write that small, especially when under pressure in front of the kids. So I'm going to go ahead and move this box over just slightly. And now I will write in this very large zoomed in box. Now the zoom tool is one of those tools where you can have multiple things selected. So you'll see zoom is colored and my pen is colored. I will go ahead and make sure that I have my smallest tip because that's just easier to write and to read. And then I'm going to continue my sequencing right here on the screen. I got to write so much larger, but my kids are only seeing this across the top of the screen, just like they would any other time. This is less distracting. You're still writing. You're writing in a size that's comfortable for you, but you can get it all fit in here. Now to turn off the zoom, just go back down and tap on the zoom again. And now you're back to the view that your kids have always had. And your writing is still up here. They can still see it, but the zoom is now gone. The last one on this particular screen that I will show you is the ruler. One that I don't use quite as often, but it is a great tool. So if you're doing math and the kids need to measure something specifically that's on this screen, or maybe you just want to draw a really straight line, you can actually do that. This is another tool that you can have a second tool selected. So if I choose the pen, I can now just draw a really straight line using the ruler. I can turn it to different degrees just using my fingers. So maybe they're graphing lines and they need the really straight line to be able to graph those lines. They can pull out the ruler tool, move it throughout the page, line up the dots on the graph to be able to do that straight line. To get rid of the ruler tool, just tap and the ruler will go away. Now there's an arrow off to the side that shows additional tools that maybe are ones that you don't use super often. This plus sign here is actually the media button. If you pull up the media button, just like all other Apple products, you are able to add pictures, videos, stickers, GIFs to your page, which really helps with engaged learners and being able to really learn and show your work the way you need to, individualizing that learning. I'm going to tap cancel to get rid of this. The next one is a navigation. We're not going to go over that. This one right here, it kind of looks like a backwards Z, is actually a tape tool. This is a really fun one if maybe you've got something out here that's got answers on it and you want to quiz the kids, or maybe you're working with secondary and they are using Notability with a study guide. If I tap on the tape tool, it allows me to cover up answers with the tape. So now I can quiz myself or I can quiz my students. If I am ready to reveal the answer, just tap on the tape. It reveals the answer. You will notice there is still a very slight outline of it, so you know that there was tape there. And you can re-tap and cover up the answer again. Once you're done with the studying, just use the eraser tool to get rid of that tape. Still keeps your answers there, just gets rid of the tape. The next one over is a microphone tool. You can leave voice notes on these pages. So maybe you are in grad school or something along those lines and you would like to hear what your professor is lecturing about. You can actually tap the microphone button. It will go ahead and record what's going on in the room right here. And then once you're done, you just tap it. And now you will notice I have both a microphone tool and a play button. This play button right here is how you know if there is a voice memo on this page. Unfortunately, it's not like Keynote or some of the other products where it will actually show a microphone at the certain points that you recorded. So it's not quite as obvious that way, but you do have this play button down at the bottom. The next one over is the text tool. This just allows you to select it, tap, and now you can type on the screen. So you can pull up the keyboard, and now your students can type. The next one over is kind of a selection tool. This allows you to just select things that you have worked on, and now I can move it around the screen. I can copy it, I can cut, I can change the style. You know, you have a lot of options when it comes to the selection tool and how you'd like to move or group or delete things around the screen. Finally, the last one is this settings tool. It's really nice. This allows you to rearrange your toolbox. So like I said before, maybe this ruler is not something that I use on a daily basis all the time. So I'm going to grab it by the 3 lines right here and pull it down to the second screen. Maybe I use the laser pointer all the time, so I want that at the top of my list. Or maybe the zoom, I just don't use this much, so I'm going to pull it down to the bottom. This reorders that home screen that you see down here at the bottom. So the first tools that you see, it reorders that so you can personalize it for however you best use Notability. Once you're done, just tap done at the top. Now this is a quick tour of the tools for Notability. There is a handout that goes with this that explains the tools in words. The best way is to play around with it. If you have any questions, please feel free to go to the OPS-IMS SharePoint site or reach out to your instructional tech trainers.